So yeah, again another off-the-cuff video regarding a new car. I just want you to feast your eyes on this. Are you ready? This here, 2006 Mercedes C220. This is a 2.2 diesel engine that they run in the Sprinters and also the newer vehicles, obviously derived type of engine. But this car here has 68,000 miles on it. 68,000 miles on it. Yeah, it's bonkers. Well, it was clean when we picked it up, but now obviously it's completely dirty. But this car, I've just travelled about 240 miles on it, just jumped straight in it. You see it's pretty straight for a 56 plate. Interior, pretty good condition. The back looks like it's never been sat in, apart from obviously me using it for the dogs at the moment. What else would you use a 68,000 mile Mercedes for? The question is how much did you give for it? Well, my brother picked this up about a week or two ago. I had mentioned it earlier on one of the videos. He paid £1,300 for this. Obviously we've got a little nick here, and it has a cat seat write-off. Is it C? Which involved a rear wing. I don't know if it was this one, rear quarter, if it was this one, or if it was this one. But that was in 2008, which I can't see any type of damage. My brother says there's a little bit of difference between the paintwork between the two. I don't know if you can notice that. But that's what you can get nowadays for your money. If you shop around and have a real good nosy, an old geezer had this for quite a while, I'm assuming. I'll just jump in and show you the interior. It doesn't help, obviously I've got really muddy boots and I'm just treating it like a workhorse. We'll just fire up this dash and have a quick nosy. I've just travelled. Oh, the steering wheel's a bit wrong price. So, if it will zoom in on that dash there. So, 251 miles, 4 hours. Let me just drop through here. 44 mpg. So, 69,024 miles. It's hitting 45, 50 mpg, and that isn't me like taking it easy. That's me motoring to get up here. It's had one tyre fitted, that my brother did, and he's had it tracked up. Yeah, it was pretty clean when we got it. I mean, I just got a load of salt on it now from obviously the roads. But yeah, I just thought I wanted to just do a quick video on it. This is the avant-garde model, cruise control, heated seats. There's Bluetooth on the phone, or phone connector in it. Still haven't figured that bit out, I've only had it a couple of days. But really impressed with it. I mean, before this, obviously I've got the VRS and I've had all this bits and bobs. But last year we had an E-Class, 2015 E-Class estate, E220, which is a very similar engine to this. Obviously it's derived throughout the years, like for economy and obviously emissions, all the Euro 4, 5 and 6s. But the E-Class, when my brother, I did say on one of the other videos, when I heard him getting this, he wanted it just as a workhorse. He got it super cheap, super cheap. This could easily be flipped tomorrow and sold for a considerable amount more. But with him picking it up, he wanted it for a nice car, not too fussed about in regards to cost, and something a bit of a workhorse, and also that little bit of added luxury cruise control and stuff like that. But unfortunately it didn't suit him because there's not enough practicality in regards to boot space. It sounds real daft. I've got it as boot space, and obviously there's bits and bobs fitted in there. Obviously got the drone there I'm going to take out in a second. But he went for a newer model, the estate, which I understand need a bit more room. This car, the rear seats do not fold down. So if you need something long to go in here, like I've just brought a bumper up to drop off in Glasgow, I had to have the bumper on the front there with that seat all the way down along the back, which is annoying because if you just had a rear hatch that opened up, it could have just fitted in there perfectly like it does on like the X-types. That was an optional extra for this type of vehicle. An optional extra was a 60-40 seat split, which come under a skiing optional extra or a ski hatch optional extra, and you'll know they've got little red flaps here that you pull, little red flaps. So yeah, this is how clean it is. It's still got all the original triangle in there. The boot's in really good nick. Everything in this car is in really good nick, apart from I've started just to use it what it's for. In all fairness, this car itself isn't for me, this is for my partner to use. We had the E-Class and that went, and ever since that went we just thought, what a pair of nuggets we are getting rid of an E-Class. So we thought, well, Russ said, this is going cheap, obviously. I've just picked it up 1,300. You have to go considerable distance for it, put a tyre on. He's like, you can have it 1,500. I was like, let's have it. Let's have it. So yeah, pretty impressed. Just banged out them 250 miles, no stress. A few hours, cruise control all the way. And yeah, so it's just a quick update on the channel of a new workhorse that we've got there. I could go through other bits and bobs of it. There's one thing I'm not too keen on at the moment is, I'll just show you. It really upset me. I'll just pop this bonnet. The headlights were blank, and that's because the bulbs weren't fitted correctly. They've got a really snazzy way of fitting the bulbs, and there's a little black hasp that you rotate, and you take the H7 in and out, and you ought to have it sitting flush and then rotate it, and it locks it in place. Some people aren't aware of how to do it. Obviously undo the hasp, put it in, and the bulb isn't actually sat correctly, and they rotate the hasp to lock it in place, and it puts it on a kilter down, so it ends up going along the floor, and it just doesn't work for... Oh, give me 1 second. Oh. So under the bonnet, as you can see, all this plastic trim work. Where's your dipstick? I mean, you've got your coolant reservoir, which has got a sender unit, which tells your dash, which is your low coolant, your screen wash, your battery nestled up there, which looks like a relatively new battery, cabin filter. I'm not too sure, ECU works underneath there most likely. But you have no dipstick on this variant, which is mental. To do the oil level check, you have to wait 30 minutes from the car has to be on a standard, can't be on a hill, has to be flat. Wait 30 minutes and then you do it for the dashboard, which I'm all fine for. But a dipstick, what we do have is a dipstick there and one further back. But I'll just show you. We just pop this bonnet cover and this engine cover off. I mean, like, this is completely off the cuff like all the other videos. Obviously fuel filter, 10 a penny, well, they're like 6 quid to replace. The difference fuel filter on this one and the old E220 we had, the newer variants have got a little sensor in, and you put it in, turn the ignition on, it primes the filter itself. So you ain't got no bleeding issues. Whereas this, off, and then filter the new filter. So this is where your dipstick would be, and you just pull it off, it's just a cap. That's it. And I was like, oh my god, it snapped. But then you go online, it's actually done via the dash, which is a pain. I mean, look at this aux belt, auxiliary belt. We're due a new one on that. Yeah. So that's due. It's not long out of service, so, but all in all, niggly bits, due auxiliary belt, and thermostat. I mean, it's cold weather at the moment, but it's not getting above 60, and we want the engine operating around 80-90 degrees, don't you really? So new thermostat on the way as well. But yeah, what an absolute weapon, absolute weapon. I mean, reversing sensors, I mean, phone capability, and you look at this 56 plate. Yeah, it's old. It has 68k on it, 68,000 miles. I mean, I've driven vans that are 2 years old that I've got that on, and they're Sprinter engines, and they still go up to 300-400k. This is pretty much a Sprinter engine, 2.2. I mean, this hasn't got black death. This is what we checked immediately when my brother went to view it. Black death occurs around the plastics of the seating of the injector rings go, and best way to describe it, the gases come up here and start to melt all the bits and bobs. But as you see, absolutely spot on injector wise. Bit of a different filter than the other E220 we had. Obviously this is a C-Class, but it's the same variant engine, just a bit older. Some of the variant engines, they've got a big massive 40,000 mile air filter on them. Big chunky boy. This is, I'm not too sure on it, but it's recently had a service, they say so. When they say it recently has a service, that fuel filter, if you ask me, yeah, that isn't new. It's not old, it's not brand new, so when you've had a service, they've just had oil and filter done by the looks of it. So yeah, just thought I'd give you a rundown. I'm at the Strathclyde, so I'm going to do a quick video of the Strathclyde in a second. I'll just show you what you can see. Yeah, so that's it. Quick 10-minute rundown of this, straight off the cuff. So yeah, I'm in the car itself now, and I just want to show you some little bits and bobs about it. I mean, 1,500 quid for a car, 69k on it now. I've had like a week. I just using it as an absolute weapon. The E-Class before this is why I was just like, I've had Volkswagens, Audis and everything, and I get an E-Class a few years ago and then we got rid of that. I'll post a picture up of what it is, the old one. And then I was like, this one, I was like, oh, we gotta get it. It's the avant-garde model as well. So it's got like better stereo, everything. It's 1,500 quid. I mean, what the hell? Let me just show you the interior on it. This car has obviously been owned by an old person. We went through I've gone through all the receipts for it, and there was some diagnostic work carried out on it a couple of years ago, so I think obviously that may have knocked the guy's confidence on the car now. Or maybe it's just a bit too old for him, he doesn't want it, I don't know. But either way, let's just give you a quick rundown of the interior. So obviously, up front, traditional style clocks, and look how clean it is. I mean, number one, Sage is classical, and number two, Sage is Radio 2. That just gives you an indication of the type of person that owns this car. I mean, it's so tidy and clean inside. I mean, you have to excuse my Greg's Cup if you do see that knocking around, but like the wear on the steering wheel, things like that. I mean, a car at this age with this type of interior and stuff like that for 1,500 quid, it's a good bit of money for the car, it is. I mean, this is what I don't understand why a lot of people don't do this, is keep an eye out for an old car with relatively low miles on. Pay it. I mean, the road tax on this is 23 quid a month or 26 quid a month. Yeah, it's a dear do compared to some Audi A3s and things like 20 quid a year for 2-litre TDI, or 30 quid a year, or like Peugeot 107 and stuff like that. It's a completely different calibre of car though. The 2.2 diesel engine, great return on MPG. This is the 5-speed variant box auto. It's still great return on MPG. I mean, we have the 7-speed in the old Merc. It's one thing I do need to get done on it is the service on the auto box. People don't necessarily service them on the intervals they should be, because they're classed as long life or the longevity of the vehicle itself. Bear with me one sec. Phone call. Right. So a quick update on the journey. 315 miles down. I got another 200 miles to head back down south. It's like 270 up here, 270 back, something like that. So I just thought a quick rundown again. So as you've seen the previous bits, I'd already got there, and now we're just gonna give it another walk around. I mean, oh, it is bloody dirty. The amount of grit salt on this road. I got one issue. This sprayer here isn't doing the driver's part of the window. It's doing everything else apart from this driver's part. It's a bit of a fucking kick in the dick, but yeah, it's going really well. I mean, it's a shame really I can't get these beautiful views in. These like rolling hills, they're just gorgeous. But yeah, it was just a quick trip up there. But this C-Class, I tell you what, it's a different world, absolutely different world. For 1,500 quid motoring, super cheap, innit? So yeah, just super impressed. Just thought just a little bit more of a rundown of the car itself then. So yeah, I'm just going to nip myself into the McDonald's in a second, grab myself a breakfast and a nice strong black coffee. I mean, I've just been listening to classical all the way. A few things I want to say though. The glare on this is awful. You'll be driving along and you'll get a nasty glare come through the back window, and it hits that and you get poof, straight in the eyes. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame. At the moment, the thermostat, I've just pulled in now. We've been travelling an hour or so, and the thermostat hasn't raised more than that. If anything, it started to raise an hour in the car park. So it's bloody cold in here. I've got these dials set up to 26 and both heated seats on. So yeah, that's something I need to address. That will also reduce the MPG on the vehicle because it's constantly trying to get warm. It's using excess fuel to get to do so. Anything else I need to report on? Inside, I'll tell you what, this stereo, many times I've come up Scotland and there's a few, like between like Gretna Green and Lockerbie, that type of rolling hill, you'll soon like lose signal. But this thing is absolutely locked onto it. This thing does not let any signal go. I am banging out a bit of classic. Oh, also, this car has a little button here saying sporty mode, sport, comfort. It isn't sport at all. It's we're going to change the rev limit, and rather than change it like 2.5 to 3, we'll just keep revving all the way up to like 4,500 RPM. That isn't a sport mode, that's a fucking kill your car quick mode. Like what? Jerky gear change. I'm like, that ain't no sport mode, lad. That is daft. So that button there is redundant to all use. It's got a click pedal, so I don't know why you got sport mode there. You don't even have flappy pedals on this model. So you've got like, if you want to go on the actual accelerator, you slam it down to the floor and there's a little notch of a click. Well, that then just increases rev limit straight away, because the reason you've gone flat out is because you need to fucking go, so it'll drop a gear and then accelerate all it's got with big blooms of Coltrane in black smoke out the back of it. So yeah, and this mirror, I was not expecting this in this type of year. Auto dim at the back. Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's better than the freaking E-Class one we had. Like, this thing is on point. Fair play to that. But yeah, all in all, it's going well. Getting good fuel out of it. I mean, at the moment, we are... Let's just have a quick look at this clock. My camera skills are awful. I do apologise. Just jumped in the car, done an hour, 56 miles, 37.4 mpg, which is fucking horrendous. But it is cold. I jumped straight on the motorway and just went for it. Sitting at 70, obviously the legal speed limit. As you can see, in them 56 miles, I've achieved a 56 mile an hour average, so 60-70 miles an hour. But yeah, stat wise, at that 314 miles, that's 43.1 mpg. But there's a lot of heavy hills around here, and also a lot of stop-start to get out the city in the start in the morning and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm going to go in there and get myself a nice cup of coffee and have a poo. You know, I was saying about that squirter not working on the car. I've used all the screen wash in the car, haven't I? So I had to find a Coke bottle that was on the floor and just fill it full of water when I was inside the shop before. People just look at me like, what a crazy guy. Just pick up a Coke bottle. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not spending £6 on fucking screen wash. So let's just fill this up with water now. Let's be on our merry way. I got one for you as well. Right, look how nice that starts. Oh. This car's only got one fucking cup holder. It's not even a cup holder. You can fit a can in there, you get yourself a nice cup of hot beverage, and it's just all over the place. Mercedes, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? Bruv! Like, am I meant to have dined inside and not brought food in the car? Is this, you're not meant to consume anything in this car? This type of car is the type of car where you have enough time to luxuriously sit there and waste fucking half an hour. No, man's got to go. So I'm going to have probably coffee everywhere in a minute. Anyhow, let's crack on with this. Yep. So that side of the windscreen is clear. This side isn't so clear. That washer jet has stopped working down there. Means I've got to get out of the car now and fucking fiddle around with that one. Just squared over here. It's the only issue I've had so far, which I really can't grumble because of the amount of salt on the roads. So, yeah. I've done the best I can with the limited resources I have. Yes! Look at that for formation. Did it with my little mic piece. Put it in and just give it a wiggle. So that side's just deaded. This side isn't working at all. This side is, so yeah. Well, wasn't a bad repair if you ask me. Let's get going. Right, so we got back. I went up yesterday, did the 270 there, dropped the bumper off, went to see my brother, stayed over, jumped in the car this morning, 270 back. So I just got back at the shop now. Obviously opened up and everything, and a little bit of downtime so I can jump on the computer and put all the videos together. But yeah, I appreciate you watching it. I mean, you'll see more of that car. You'll just see like the service on it, do the auxiliary bell, and it's just a weapon of a vehicle to have. It's one thing I want to say as well, like 1,500 quid for a motor, obviously not rugby to 1,300. You had to go right down south for it. Always skeptical when you pick a car from the coast for like rust, but there's nothing wrong with it at all. I mean, the MOT comes back with 2 rear corroded springs that are advisory, so that's advisory. But yeah, I just want to say, like, I give him 1,500. He put a tyre on, he got it tracked, and it didn't suit him, so he just got the C-Class estate with all the fold-down boot and everything. But yeah, it's a bit of a weapon of a vehicle, and this is one thing I want to say is like, you can go out there and if you look hard enough, you can find something cheap enough that's more manageable. Obviously, it's a lot easier to go out and get finance on a newer vehicle, stress-free, worry and all that, but like, it's a constant payment every month. And then when you get to your 3 or 4 years down the line, there's a balloon payment. So if you're like 3 or 4 years down the line and you've got 3 or 4 grand for your balloon payment, you're going to trade in again, you get stuck in that cycle. So if you haven't got the 3 or 4 grand to trade in at the end of the balloon payment now, so why don't you get something like that? I mean, I'm just throwing it out there for people to understand. You don't have to be super mechanically minded to own a vehicle like that. I mean, it's got a considerable amount of history with it, and it's a few and far between, but you can find them. I also just want to say, like, the only time I ever agree on finance on certain vehicles like that, obviously always get the gap insurance if you do it. Don't be an idiot and not get it. But if you do, it's just the only time I ever agree on it is if it's like commercial based. If you've got a fleet of vehicles and you want to expand your vehicles and you've done 12 months, 24 months, 36 months projections on what return you can get off certain vehicles and the workforce fleet or something, that's the only time I ever agree on finance in regards to a vehicle, because then it's returning you actual gains, whereas a vehicle that you're going to get new or a couple of years old on finance, it's only going to depreciate in value to a point where the depreciation on its arse is only going to go up when it becomes a classic. At this moment in time, this Merc is completely depreciated in value, and the list price of that Merc would have been, I don't know, a ballpark figure, 32, 34k maybe, like 15 years ago. I don't know, I'm just throwing that out there. So like, it's always worth just getting out there, and even if your budget's like 1,500 quid and you don't find a Merc like that, or you struggle to find something like that, just, especially with the current economic status that we're in now, the country's fucked. So it's definitely worth just like having a mooch about and seeing what's around before you go and tie into a finance deal. And you'll see that car now, it's got 69k on it. We'll keep that because we were so upset when we sold the E-Class. We had the E-Class and that had like, it was a 15 plate. You've seen the pictures of it. And it was like owned by Emirates for like 3-4 years, and it had 215k on it, full service history, and I didn't give a great deal for it. I sold it for more than what I paid for it. I made money on it, and we used it an absolute weapon. Like, this is why I was so switched to it. Like, yes, let's get it, because the E-Class that we had with that mileage on, we went from where we live across to Ireland, up to Northern Ireland, up to Scotland, all the way around Scotland, back down. It's like a massive road trip, and we did 1,700 miles in it in like 10 days. And like, and it just did it. It just did it, and it was comfortable doing it. So this is why I was like, it's a win-win for me to just get a car like that. Do you know what I mean? So I big up the Mercs, I big up the old Mercs, I big up any vehicle that's preferably German. I'm not keen on BM, so don't shoot me for that. But yeah, all in all, you'll see more of this car on the channel. Obviously, you've got more VRS updates, and also there's going to be also more of the Mark II Golf, which you haven't seen any of yet. The black Audi, we're probably going to strip that for parts and drop the transmission out because it's a CVT. It affects a considerable amount of money online, and also the engines are as well, and the interior, and it will pay for what it cost us to have it. And you'll see the other grey Audi, you will also see the Subaru WRX. So these are things that are coming to the channel in time to come, but at the moment in time, I'm just so plowed down with all things, and this is just, like I say, a diary, a side hobby. I enjoy making the videos. It gives me something to do when I've got spare free time in the shop, or like in the evening, I can just sit there and play on the computer and do a bit. It's just nice to be creative, and like hopefully my videos come a lot better, come a bit more edited better. It's just I don't like getting in. I'm going off a tangent now, but I don't like getting in and just gluing onto Netflix for 4 hours. It does my head in. There's so much to do, especially with winter. When the summer rolls around, I'm going to start doing more videos again because you got the daylight. So in the evening I can get stuff done like now. But yeah, peace out. I want to say I'm tired from the drive. I'm just a little bit, I don't know, might need another black coffee. So peace out.